Hi, I'm Roger, and today I'm going to be showing you my take on the frame assembly jig. I went through a few different options here and did some experimenting before I finally settled on this. There's a lot of different ideas out there. I've watched quite a few different videos, and this is going to be my take. Well, if I can figure out what I did with the other parts. There they are. Okay, what I started out with was a design where you have these on the ends like this, and then you have a board that slips through. You have one on each side, and then when you're done building the frames you can pull this apart. I had one of those going for a while. I built a couple of batches of frames on them, didn't really like the way it worked. Glue spills over, and if it dries in the wrong place, or as what happened to me was I got distracted and I had to go do something else, and I had left this in there like this. By the time I got back, the glue that had dripped down in there had hardened and set up, and I had to pretty much beat it apart with a hammer, so I scrapped that idea. My next thought was to use something with pipes like this here. This is 3/4 inch electrical conduit, commonly known as electrometallic tubing. I know it well. I was an electrician for 42 years. So my second design, and this was just made out of scraps to try to do some experimenting. This is what I came up with after I decided I liked the way this worked. I built this one here, and I'll give you a little demonstration how it works. Pipes just slip in through the holes, and I'll put all the dimensions at the end of the video here. I'll have a slide at the end where you can stop it and pause it and write down the dimensions. Okay, you set the pipes in there. Your end pieces will all kind of pickup sticks here. Yep, that one was long enough. Got a few rejects in here. I mass produced these, and I didn't sort them as I cut them. These work ideal for the medium supers. When I'm doing deeps, in order to brood box frames, I set this up on the edge of two 2x4s to get the extra depth. I didn't need to do a whole lot of them, so I didn't build a second jig for that. I just kind of did a little workaround here for this one. Once all your frames are in there, end frames are in there, then your top frames, of course you would obviously put glue on them first, which we'll talk about in a minute. And so on right down the line. Now, back to the subject of glue. I'm only going to do a few of these, so I'm not going to load up the pan. I would normally use this little pan and the silicone brush in there, and you can apply the glue to the ends, but since I'm only going to do one batch of them here, get these back apart. Using Titebond 3, that's a waterproof glue. Titebond 2 is a water-resistant glue. Obviously these are not supposed to get wet because they're inside the hive, but you'd want to use at the very least water-resistant glue. I also use something called a glue bot. These are real handy. Little silicone thing on the end here. You fill up this reservoir right here, and then when you squeeze down here, it sends glue back up out here, so you're not waiting, especially when you get down to the end of the tube, you're not waiting for the glue to flow down there, and there's very little waste. It keeps well, and of course I do a lot of woodworking, so I'm constantly refilling this. I have one for each one of the Titebonds, 1, 2, and 3. Not sponsored by Titebond, just happen to like their product. The other way this could be done would be to apply the glue to every one of these frame ends. I prefer to do it this way. I make sure I get a good coverage. I can get it on all the surfaces. And I'm not in a big hurry. If I had to do thousands of these, it might be a different story. you probably don't need to sit and watch me put all these together. So what I do after I get all the top bars on is come back with a 1¼ staple. Obviously you want to get it centered. As much as I've done this, I still miss once in a while. And then I always like to wipe a little bit of glue squeeze out off of there. Okay, when I get ready to flip this over, we'll come back. Okay, back, got all the top bars on this batch here. What I do then is just pick the entire thing up and flip it over this way. I learned if you try to do it the other way, you'll end up with them falling out. Now, one of the things I like to do, especially since the shop is kind of cold, is I like to put the foundation in before I put the bottom bar on. When I was doing the deeps, I didn't have any problem snapping the plastic foundation in because I had that extra mass. With these mediums here, I don't get enough flex because it's cold in here. It's only about 50, and I was snapping some of my bottom bars back off and splitting them. So what I'm going to do here, what I've done with the last couple batches I've done, is I just pull the pipes out, my foundation in place. Get a hold of one of these. Here again, if you wanted to do this quick, you could just apply glue to every one of these little pieces here, but I like to make sure I get the good coverage, and I don't want it filling up the foundation slot either. So I just dab a little bit on the ends. Like I said, I'm not in any hurry. It's a nasty, cold November rainy day out there. I'd rather be in here, even though it isn't very warm. That one fits tight. This stuff is just not very flexible when it's this cold. Get in there. There we go. So then follow that up with a staple on each end. Try not to knock your bottom bars off the table, and etc. just down the line. Okay, once you get everything done like this, you can just lift the side up and all your frames will be sitting there. If you happen to have a super handy, you can set the super over the frames that you built and flip it around this way. It's all set. You can take off and start over with another one. Like I said, this is kind of my take on it. Other people have their own ways of doing it. Yeah, there are quicker ways of applying the glue, and I just kind of set in my ways here a little bit. This is the way I like to do it. If I had to do thousands of them, I would probably use the quicker method and just apply glue down every side and slap everything in quick. If it was warmer in here, like if it was 70, 80 degrees, I'd probably have a little bit more flex to the foundation, and I'd be able to put all the bottom bars on, then go back and snap the foundation in afterwards. But that's not the case. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this, appreciate the thumbs up as a like, and we welcome any comments, and please subscribe. Thanks.